After 2 weeks with a severe infection and this amazing setup sitting on my camera shelf looking at me, I can finally put it through its paces. And we're best for the first test, mine and my family's favourite place, and recently named Best Zoo in the UK. Welcome to Chester Zoo and the wildlife capabilities of the Canon R5 Mark II with the 24-70 f2.8, 70-200 f2.8 and the big boy, the 100-500 f4.5 to 7.1. Welcome to part 2 of my 6-part Canon EOS R5 Mark II series. So let's find out how it handles the zoo. One body, 3 lenses and a zoo full of moving targets. Today, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II goes to work for the first time on the thing I actually love, shooting wildlife. If you're new here, I'm John and welcome to Joe View Chronicles Life in Motion. I shoot photography and video from my wheelchair. On this channel, I try to give you the honest version of how gear actually performs in the real world, not the studio lit versions. Now, as you know, the full disclosure up front because it matters. The R5 Mark II you're about to see in action was supplied to me on loan by Canon. They can read editorial freedom. What you hear in this video is genuinely what I think. If something frustrates me, I'll say it. If something blows me away, I'll say that too. Now, my background is in Micro Four Thirds, specifically the OM Systems OM1, a small weather seal system with the 100-400 wildlife setter. So I've also done Nikon as well, as you can see from previous videos. As we're jumping into a full frame Canon body for the very first time, I've got the Holy Trinity, 24-70 f2.8, the 70-200 f2.8, and the RF100-500 f4.5 to 7.1 is a genuine shift in weight, in reach and in workflow. Today is about finding out whether that shift is worth it for someone who shoots the way I do. The plan: one day at the zoo, Komodo dragons, lions, primates, and tigers, and above all, my favourite, the Jaguars. So let's get into it. Right, let's talk practicalities because the kit only works if you actually use it. From the chair, weight matters more than spec sheets. The RF100-500 is heavier than the OM100-400, no question, but trade-off is reach. 500mm on the front frame and getting genuine wildlife framing without cropping into the mush. but given that if I needed to crop in, I can crop in quite well. The 24 to 70 f2.8 is my main one. That lives on the body for the butterfly house and any wider environmental work, habitat, signage and the establishing shots. The 70 to 200 f2.8 is the bridge, primates behind glass, mid distances, giraffe portraits and anything where I want a shallow depth of field at a usable workable distance. And here's the bit I want any other disabled photographer watching this to hear. The R5 Mark II, the grip is well shaped for one-handed support. The joystick reach and the multifunctional button placement, the deep front grip. Canon hasn't designed this for wheelchair users specifically, but the ergonomics happen to work in our favour, and I'll come back to that. So the first subject, the Komodo Dragon, is frankly a gift to a new camera. It barely moves, which means I get to spend 10 minutes doing what most wildlife photographers never get to do, actually testing the autofocus on a known target. Animal eye detection on the R5 Mark II, paired with the 100 to 500 through reinforced glass with mixed lighting. It locks onto the eye and stays there. Even when the dragon turns its head, the box tracks it. This is the first time today I think, okay, this is in a completely league of its own. But the settings I'm running for this is auto ISO 1/12/50th of a second and at f7.1 wide open because I'm at the longer end of the zoom. The R5 Mark II handles easily 6400 ISO like it's nothing, and the tilt screen on the R5, I absolutely love cameras with tilt screens, and the articulating screen flips out in any direction, and as I said, from a wheelchair, that is the difference between getting the shot and missing it completely. Contorting, that on its own is an accessibility win. So stop 3, the giraffe. The long lens compression on the 70 to 200, picking out the giraffe's head against the sky. On the 70 to 200 for the giraffes, this lens is a revelation. The zoom balanced on the body weight weighs less than I expected, and the rendering in f2.8 is creamy without being mushy. Eyelashes sharp, background is old. I also focus on the giraffe locked on instantly. And I want to be clear about this. Canon's subject detection on the R5 II isn't just for an animal's category, it seems to genuinely understand mammalian faces structure. It found the eye through the fence wired on one shot, which is something the OM1 has pretty struggled with, so has Nikon as well. It is genuinely fun to shoot, and big subjects, slow movements, this is the moment I started trusting the camera enough to stop chimping every shot. Stop 4, the Jaguars and Lions. The 100 to 500's back on. Big cats is my favourite. This is where the rubber meets the road for a wildlife camera. Lions first. The male was pacing in the back, walking the line he clearly walks every afternoon. Predictable enough that I could pre-focus on the path and let the R5 hold the eye as it came through. First race I'm shooting electronic shutter, and I'll be honest, somewhere around 20 frames a second, more than I normally need, but I wanted to stress test the buffer. It didn't flinch with the CFX B card in the camera. I never hit a wall. Now onto the Jaguars, my favourite, and this is where the high ISO advantage of the full frame becomes properly obvious. Their enclosure is shaded, draped, contrastly lit. I was at ISO 6400 to keep my shutter above the 1/640 of a second. The files are usable, not rescuable, usable through DxO Pro RAW 6 with Deep Prime XD3, which if you've seen my workflow videos is always step 1 for me. They clean up beautifully. My honest worry coming into this day was the R5 II files would just be too big to handle. They are big, about 45 megapixels of big, but my workflow already handles raw pre-processing at a scale. If yours doesn't, please do factor this in. This is a camera that demands a serious computer behind it. Stop 5, the primates. Primates are a test I always set myself. Eyes deep set, furs that dark and detail killing, glass between you and the subject, almost everything I shoot with her own struggles here. I also focus locked, not just found a face, locked onto the actual eye, even in the low contrast against the dark flare. The 70 to 200 at f2.8 gave me enough light to keep the ISO at 3200 and the shutter at 1/400th of a second. This is the kind of shots that normally come home with maybe one keeper from 100. Today I've had dozens of keepers from one sequence. Tigers, was lucky enough to see them both walking about, and then they went onto the hill. I did manage got some video on the DJI 360, but I was too busy getting the shots I needed with the 100 to 500. And straight away they also focused, stuck straight to the animal's eye and stayed there. I love tigers, they're my absolute favourites. Whether you see this section depends on whether the keepers are kind, and they was today. But assuming we get the shot, this is everything I've learned about the camera in the last 6 hours applied. The RF 100 to 500 at 500mm, ISO 800, f7.1 with the shutter at 1/500th of a second, single held frame tiger eye, super sharp, rimlet. That frame is the one, that's the shot I remember from this body, and I want to acknowledge something. I would not have got that frame from my OM1 today, I must admit. With the 100 to 400, the reach, the autofocus lock on the dynamic range in the shadows of the tiger's course, your 5 Mark II earned that frame from me. First outing, the Canon EOS R5 Mark II for wildlife. What's the verdict? It wins hands down. The animal eye autofocus is a generational step up. High ISO performance give me options I don't have on the Micro Four Thirds. Paired with the articulating screen is obviously a wheelchair shooter's best friend. The buffer never quit on me, and there was no overheating, and as you can see, it's a very sunny day here in the UK today. Around about 20 degrees, which is quite warm for this time of year. The RF lens Trinity, especially the 100 to 500, is the most complete wildlife kit I must admit I've ever held. The honest reservations, it's heavy and it's very expensive. The files demand a serious computer, and this is the personal one. It doesn't replace the run and gun throw in the bag accessibility of an OM1. Different tools, different jobs. Would I take it out again tomorrow? Well, I tell you, it's the right camera for everyone. No, but for someone who shoots wildlife seriously and wants reach, high autofocus and shadow latitude in one body, yes, it is exactly that camera. If you've got something out of this, please do hit that subscribe and notification bell to be notified of the upcoming videos. And like I said, subscribe for the rest of the Canon R5 Mark II series. I've got landscape, street, and a full long-term review still to come. Again, a big thanks to Canon for the loan. Thank you for spending the last 15 minutes with me and John. This has been Cherview Chronicles Life in Motions, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers, out.